Somewhere along the way, many of us were taught that a good life is a tidy one, organized, resolved, emotionally neat. We were taught to smooth things over quickly, to move on fast, to package our lives into something understandable, manageable, and presentable. But the longer I live, the more I realize something radical. The best parts of life are rarely tidy. They're messy, they're emotionally complex, and they're where we're most alive. Here in the Rocky Mountains, winter makes this especially clear to me. The landscape isn't polished right now. Branches are bare, the ground is uneven, and the weather shifts without warning. And yet, there's so much beauty here, and a kind of honesty that doesn't ask for it to be cleaned up. So, today I want to talk about messiness. And I don't mean chaos for chaos' sake, but the sacred human kind of messiness that comes from actually living. And as we look ahead to 2026 and beyond, I want to raise a toast. Here's to a messy life, the real one. Let me be clear, messy doesn't mean broken. We often confuse messiness with failure. If we're unsure, we think we're lost. If we're emotional, we think we're unstable. If we're grieving and grateful at the same time, we think something must be wrong. But life is not linear. And being human means holding contradictions. You can love someone deeply and still feel frustrated with them. You can be proud of yourself and still feel tender about where you are. You can be healing and hurting at the same time. Messy moments don't mean that you're doing life wrong. They're signs that you're actually in it. Think about the moments that shaped you the most. They probably weren't the polished ones. I know they weren't for me. They were the moments you didn't have language for yet. The moments when your heart was cracked open. The moments when you didn't know how things would turn out. It was the years I lived out of my Jeep, bartending to pay my college tuition. It was being stranded in an airport late at night after cancer surgery, unable to lift my own bag or find a ride home during COVID lockdown. It was taking jobs I needed to survive to afford medical care and enduring sexual harassment because walking away wasn't an option yet. It was the desperate, frightening days of trying everything I could to survive, even going hungry in the hope that my body could fight for me. None of that was neat. None of it was graceful, but it was real. Those moments were messy, they were painful, and they changed me. Because messiness is where growth happens. Growth requires friction, and friction is never clean. We live in a culture that's deeply uncomfortable with the full range of emotion. We celebrate joy, but rush grief. We praise resilience, but avoid vulnerability. We love inspiration, but shy away from despair. But a rich life isn't just one note of music, it's a symphony. And when we deny certain emotions, when we decide some feelings are too much or not allowed, we don't just lose those feelings. We dull everything. You can't selectively numb sadness without numbing joy. You can't shut down fear without also shutting down wonder. The messiest season of life often brings the deepest feelings. Grief and love intertwined. Fear and courage side by side. Exhaustion mixed with awe. Those emotions don't cancel each other out. They deepen each other. And when you let yourself feel them, without rushing to fix or explain, you start to notice something beautiful. Presence lives there. When you look back on your life, you probably won't remember the perfectly executed days. You'll remember the conversations that went long into the night, the tears you didn't expect, the laughter that came in inappropriate moments, the times you were undone and still showed up. You'll remember the moments that were emotionally charged because emotion anchors memory. Some of the most meaningful moments in my life happened when I didn't feel together at all. They happened when I was honest instead of composed, when I was present instead of polished, when I stopped trying to manage how things looked and let myself experience how they felt. Messy moments often carry truth, and truth has weight. So why do we resist it? Because messiness asks us to be seen without armor. It asks us to sit with uncertainty. It asks us to let go of control. Messiness threatens the illusion that if we just plan well enough, perform well enough, or behave correctly, we can avoid pain. But life doesn't work that way. Pain is not a sign that something went wrong. It's a sign that something mattered. And when we allow messiness, when we stop rushing ourselves toward closure, we build a different kind of strength. It's not the strength of being unshaken, but the strength of being with what's shaking. Finding beauty in the mess. Beauty doesn't only live in resolution. It lives in transition. It lives in the half-formed ideas, the honest conversations that don't end neatly, the art that feels truer than it is pretty, the lives that are still becoming. Here in the winter, the mountains don't try to impress. They don't rush to bloom. They rest. They hold what is. And there is such dignity in that. You don't need to make sense of everything right now. You don't need to have a clear narrative. You don't need to arrive. You just need to be honest about where you are. That honesty, that willingness to stay with the mess, is what makes a life feel real. As we step into 2026 and beyond, I don't wish you a perfect year. I wish you a real one. One where you let yourself feel deeply. One where you don't rush your healing. One where you allow joy and grief to sit at the same table. One where you stop editing yourself out of your own life. Here's to the unfinished conversations, the uncertain beginnings, the beautiful contradictions, the seasons that don't make sense yet. Here's to a messy 2026 and the courage to live it fully, because the messiest parts of life are often the ones that mean the most.